Hello and welcome to Faces of Crypto, where we get to know the people behind the social media accounts that you guys follow in the crypto space. So today we are fortunate to be joined by Lewis, aka HodlCrypto. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, doing well. How are you doing, Ben?
I'm doing fantastic. So the first question I like to ask everybody is, how did you get involved in cryptocurrency?
Okay, how did I get involved? Well, so I I started using Bitcoin probably about 2 years ago. I was using it basically to purchase goods, but I never invested in it at that point. So um, I got involved, like I started investing in April 2017. So that's when basically what happened was I was saving money for my old job. Um, I had opened like a stockbroker account, and I had the money sitting on the sidelines thinking like, I really don't want to invest in the stock market. What should I do? And then I opened Coinbase and I saw like Bitcoin had really moved and Ethereum had just boomed at that point. And I saw Litecoin and I said, you know what? I'm gonna take all this money out of this account and throw it all in Litecoin, and then I'm gonna start doing my research later. So it was like it was really like my story is kind of like, yes, I definitely got into it for the money, like period. Like most people, like if they're honest about it, probably is what attracted them
Yeah,
to the crypto space at first.
I'm just in it for the
Uh,
technology.
yeah, yeah, right. Which I think a lot of us like now we really do like we're true believers, and
Agreed. Yeah.
we really are pushing for adoption and all that. But yeah, that's how I got started, man. I was like, hey, Bitcoin did this, Ethereum did this. I think Litecoin's going to do this, and I threw like a bit of coin into Litecoin, and that's how I got started. Then it was just looking at YouTube videos, getting on Reddit, just reading everything I could. Like it's kind of like one of those red pill experiences once you really realize like, hey, crypto has the potential to change the world. It's making a lot of people rich, and I need to learn about it. So that's kind of like where I was at that point. Things have progressed a lot since then. I think it's a little more mature. My participation in the cryptocurrency community, but yeah, that's definitely how I started.
I think you make a really good point that, a lot of us got into it. I just did a video a couple days ago where I talked about how I got into cryptocurrency. I was kind of forced to get into it because of a software I had to buy. I had to use Bitcoin. It's back in 2012. And so,
Oh wow.
yeah, it was real crazy. I just kind of accidentally fell into it. But then I got into altcoins. I didn't get into altcoins until last year. I just remember at first, like maybe 2013, 2014, when some were popping up, I was just making fun of the names, like Feathercoin or, whatever it might be. We were just
Oh
always like,
right.
what's going to be next? Pizza coin? I think there is a pizza coin now. But you make a good point that most people get into cryptocurrency because of the money. But, there is a point where you believe in the technology. And that's really where I'm at as well. You start to see that we're really at the beginning of this revolution. I was reading in this, in a Walton Chain article I was reading, and they're calling it the fourth industrial revolution is where we're heading
Oh,
for. And it's really cool. So, a lot of people make memes, including myself. I love making memes and doing, some funny and creative stuff on the internet, specifically with crypto. I know there's the PayPay DApp that a lot of people are using to make some PayPay trading cards. But your artistry and your creativity, in my mind, it's on like a whole different level than what most people are doing in the cryptocurrency space. I would definitely consider you to be an artist and not some guy making memes. And because of that, I wanted to ask you like, how did you get involved in art? How did that tie over into cryptocurrency? What are your goals with it? I just want to talk about that because I think you're very, very interesting in what you do.
thanks, man. I really appreciate that. So I don't want to like go too deep into detail on like everything, but I started digital art about 2 years ago. What I did, um, I just felt like I was like dying inside in my
Mm-hmm.
corporate job is what happened. So I worked three jobs. I studied finance and I was working like financial modeling and data modeling in a liquor company actually. And basically, like, I really put a lot of energy into that, and I was like, man, like what I did when I was a kid was I drew. Like, I was an artist, I was a musician, like I was always doing creative things, and then just being left-brained only for like a few years, I really felt like I was dying, and I needed a change. So I started getting back into art a little and dabbling with Illustrator, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna quit this job. I saved some money up. I'm gonna quit this job. I'm gonna start doing art, and I'm gonna see where it takes me. So I worked on another project where the goal of that project was really to spread awareness about, like, basically, like, I guess it was government corruption and media manipulation and things like that. So it did fall in the realm of like truthers and probably conspiracies, which some people are not such a big fan
Yeah.
of. So it was definitely a niche, but that's where I developed my style of art. So it was really important for me. I looked at a lot of stuff like Shepard Fairey's Obey Giant, like his Obey line
Right.
of clothing, but also his street art and all his digital designs, and a lot of other propaganda stuff that had influenced me when I was younger, like World War II propaganda. That when you look at it, the colors are really bright, and it just really, there's something very powerful about words, about using language and using that in art. That's why memes are so popular and go viral sometimes, is because you're using language.
Yeah.
So I always found that to be really interesting, and thought that as an artist, I'm always going to incorporate words, or at least, like, some strong symbolism into my design. So I developed that style there. I was trying to sell T-shirts, merchandise. I was doing a little bit of street art. This was all in Austin, Texas, actually. Got to know like some of the artists there and learned a lot of stuff. And then I took another job, saved up money, got into crypto, and that made me a little bit more money that I felt confident to go on to another art project. And that's when I started this. So I kind of took that same type of passion that I had about like waking people up, but I felt like it was a little less directed then. Basically, like, people in that realm of, like, oh, I'm a truther and I'm a revolutionary, and let's have like, honestly, like, I have nothing bad to say about them because they're trying to change things, but a lot of it is like they don't have a lot of direction and they don't have a lot of solutions is the problem. So when cryptocurrency came around, it is really, what I did realize is that a lot of those problems that I saw, they all kind of stem from the banking system, in my opinion. So,
Yeah.
the bank, and you control the money, and then you control the media corporations, and you control all the businesses, and like this whole thing kind of like has this power center that is like the money system. So it's safe to say that I have a real passion for cryptocurrency and kind of decentralizing that control. And I was saying, like, I do have my doubts about how decentralized and like revolutionized, an entire economy like the United States can, be in the future. But I have my hopes, and I think that cryptocurrency is our best shot at really changing, the power structure. So
Well, I think
that's kind of,
if I could just add, like, I talked about this on a different video as well. I think another interview, but it's important to reiterate. Like, there's this whole idea that a lot of people have, your mainstream people have, and even people in cryptocurrency have, that like the powers that be aren't going to let decentralization and cryptocurrency basically delete the banks. They're too powerful. And what I would say to that is it's very similar if you look back in the before Martin Luther put his 95 theses or whatever on the church doors. The church had all the power. The Roman Catholic Church at that time had more power than any organization has ever had in the world. And yet what happened? The people banded together and they rejected them. And then there was a revolution. So I think that we're going through something similar right now. And yes, people who have money are still going to find ways to have money, I believe. But I do think that we could totally revolutionize the financial system if we move to a place that is, and it makes sense because the internet, right? We're all connected, and it makes sense to go to a place
right.
where things are peer to peer, where we don't need those intermediaries. So, I think it could definitely be something that can actually happen. So
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you, and I'm hopeful for that. I think it's a great analogy that you bring too. It's basically it really is that like the separation between church and state. This is the separation between the state and control of value. That's really what we're fighting
yeah.
for here. So yeah, I'm definitely for that.
Well, cool. So where do you get your inspiration? So out of all of the pieces of art, and while we're doing this, I'll have a couple on the screen so people can see them. What's your favorite project you've worked on, and then what's your inspiration for kind of picking different pieces of art you want to work on?
And by favorite project, do you mean like coin wise
No, no,
or?
I mean your art. Like which of your art pieces? I know I think your Jamie Dimon did really well. Um,
Oh, yeah, yeah. As far as like reactions that I've got from people on social media, I think the ones that have done the best have been Jamie. Well, really, I think Jamie Dimon, Warren Buffett, and Bill Gates was good too. So
yeah,
it was kind of like the three uh, anti-cryptocurrency
the
characters,
irony.
that yeah, and just kind of attacking them was really well received by the community. So those, I mean, the Jamie Dimon piece, I had a lot of fun doing. So inspiration behind that is obviously They Live. So I don't know, have you seen the movie They Live?
Yes. Wait, is that the one with
Okay.
Roddy Piper?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
So I
It
went down.
is.
I went down to a friend's house that lived in New Orleans a couple like last year. I was on my way to the Super Bowl when the Falcons were in the Super Bowl, and we stopped. And so this girl that we were staying at her house. It was my friend's sister. Her boyfriend was like huge They Live guy. Like he loves that movie. And he
Yeah.
was like, he's like a hipster, he's got long hair, he works at a coffee shop. He's like, you guys gotta watch this movie. It's like, okay, so we watched it. It's a pretty crazy movie. Obviously, the special effects aren't the best now looking back on it, but
Oh, right, right.
yeah. But I understand the message behind it is pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, in They Live, if you put on those glasses, like that's definitely what Jamie Dimon would look like,
Yeah,
So what I did was like, yeah, I made him into one of those characters, and I put bitcoins in his eyes, which is like a little bit ironic, but it's like he puts a lot of his energy into attacking
yeah,
Bitcoin,
yeah,
and it's to protect what he's built, so that Warren Buffett, just the mindsets of what I believe the mindsets are is, just something that's stuck in the past. But I also have my theories that these guys probably could be just wanting to buy really large amounts of it,
yeah.
So who knows? But I definitely think that what they're doing is very subversive to the progress of cryptocurrency. So when you have Bill Gates saying, "Hey, if I could, I would short Bitcoin," you know how many? This is an assumption of mine, but I believe that older folks or people who are less apt to understand the technology are going to take. That's exactly who they're going to look for to see if it's a good idea to invest or not. Two
Yeah.
of these guys, Warren Buffett, the guy like the investment tycoon of the United States, and Bill Gates, the richest guy, So if these guys are saying, "Hey, Bitcoin's a fraud," Bitcoin, I'll never invest in it. I'd short it if I could. That's definitely going to keep, a lot of people's fathers and grandfathers and
And those
grandmothers
are the people
on
that have the
side.
most of the money.
Right, right. So,
Yeah.
so I think it's important to call them out. I love what Winklevoss did to call him out
Hmm.
as well. So I'd like to probably do a tribute for Winklevoss at some
Yeah.
point for that.
Well, once they said that, the price went down. So
Right, right.
yeah, no, I don't know. It'd be funny to look. That might be the day. Maybe a lot of people started shorting that day. But well, cool. Well, I think that's really good. Like I said, I think all your art is really amazing and is very unique. You put your own touch on it. If I see something that is somebody sharing something on Twitter, like I'll automatically know whether it's you or not. And I think that speaks volumes for what you're doing. You have a very specific style, and I think that's going to help you go a long way. So speaking of being on Twitter and on the different social media accounts, what what would you say the role of the cryptocurrency community is in progressing, blockchain technology forward?
Right. Well, I mean, I would say that we are called to be the champions for the technology. Like I'm taking the position as actually like I'm a self-proclaimed propagandist for
Yeah.
cryptocurrency. So, and I mean, I know that word itself has a lot of negative connotations, but it's just when you are supporting a cause and putting out content to support a cause, that's what you're doing. So. I think that that's our role. Our role really is to encourage people to adopt, to use cryptocurrencies. In case I take the angle of also really encouraging people to hodl, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that if more people had that mindset, we would hold the prices a lot better. So there's a lot of people that hop in and hop out, and they'll be really quick to tether to things. And I'm not going to say that day trading is a bad idea or I'm not for it, but I think that more than not, it's a lot of panic selling is what's going on with a lot of people who don't have the right conviction. So my at least like my take is we really should be, encouraging people to think about the long term, think about the big picture, really have the belief in how revolutionary, like this is a threefold revolution. It's financial, it's technological, and it's political,
Yeah.
And if you don't see it like that, then you're not going to have the conviction to really hold through times like we're going through right now. I think that mindset's really important. A lot of, the people that we interact with a lot on Twitter and Instagram, people like Coin Boys, have that mentality, that you really shouldn't be worried about the price. That's another one. Don't worry about price.
Yeah.
That's something that I think Andy in Coin Boys said, and I've actually like put out two pieces that literally say that. It's a repetitive message that it's hodl and don't worry about the price. I think that people should be getting the message on that and really should adopt those mentalities rather than focus so much on the short term.
Yeah, I agree totally. I think it just brings up, like the philosophic question, or where you just think about like what's the difference between someone like you or me that gets in and we immediately like believe in it, and someone who just gets in is like, oh, I lost $100, let me pull out. I don't know what it is that causes certain people to get in. I feel like if we will look back, and obviously I believe that anyone who's in cryptocurrency right now is an early adopter. And there's going to be a
Right.
lot of people looking back and saying, man, it was right in front of me, I didn't even see it. But for people like us that are involved in it every day, it's like, how can you not see where this is going? So
Right.
I think your art really speaks to that, and speaks to, like the stuff with Jamie Dimon and Warren Buffett. A lot of people are going to be really sad, but yet you're putting out art that's like pointing people in the right direction, and they're still not seeing it. So,
Right. Right.
well, cool. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us. Tell everybody where they can find you at.
Okay, so well, I have my website, HodlCrypto.co. So you can go there. I have actually some art prints, or it directs you to buy my art prints. I work with crypto studios for all my art prints, and I work with encrypted apparel for all my apparel. So you'll find links out to buy art pieces and apparel. And my socials, Instagram, HodlCrypto, at HodlCrypto. And on Twitter, it would be at HODL with a underscore and then crypto.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'll make sure when I put this out, I'll have your link in the video description, also on the presentation, so everybody will be able to see your link. And then I'll put the links to your Instagram and Twitter down below. Well, Louis, just thanks again for joining us today.
Great to be with you, Ben. See ya.
Okay. So until next time, guys, that was Faces of Crypto.